So I'm joined by Luke Curran, our Lions Academy Manager. Luke, Jack Payne just extending for 2020. He's a Lions Academy graduate. That must be great for you guys.
Yeah, it's fantastic news for Jack. Off the back of getting drafted last year, and to be able to add another year to his contract is a great reward for him. All reports he's been doing really well over pre-season, adjusted to being in life as being an AFL footballer really well, and hopefully we'll see some play some good football this year in their NEAFL team. And if he gets an AFL grain, that'll be a real bonus and an icing on the cake for him.
Yeah, so Jack was with our Lions Academy program for a number of years. What do you think it was in that program that's really set him up so well, transitioning into AFL life?
I think the fact that the last couple of years he sort of was juggling school commitments. He was also a national level athletics with his discus throwing, so he managed to manage his time really well and do everything at a high level. So I think he's been able to manage his time now in the AFL environment in terms of training sessions, medical sessions, education. He's handled that really well, and just that maturity of being a year older certainly helps in that process.
Great. And another one of your graduates, Sophie Conway, absolutely killing it in the AFLW. How do you think she's gone so far?
Yeah, that's another great story for the Academy and Sophie personally. She had a busy year last year juggling hockey and AFL, and then obviously made the decision to stick with AFL, which is great, and then again handled that transition into the senior AFLW program really well, really sort of grown and developed as a person and on the field as well, and now she's getting rewards by playing good football, which is a great story for her as well.
And then just tell us a bit about the Academy guys at the moment. Have we got anyone that we should be keeping our eye on?
Yeah, so we've got a few boys, 19-year-olds training with the senior squad at the moment, so they'll play with our NEAFL team throughout the year like we had last year. So Daniel Fleming, Ben Sloan, Jai Keneally, Billy Johnson and Jack Tompkinson are all going well and settling into that environment pretty well and involved in the match simulation over the coming weeks. And then our under-18 boys are in full mid-program, so they had a full pre-season and now starting to get into match simulation as well and have some practice games coming up in March. So some guys like Tom Matthews, Justin Curry, Cody Stackelberg are all showing really good signs at this stage of the year.
Great, so we have to keep our eyes out for those guys. What about in the Hyundai Help for Kids Girls Academy?
Yeah, the girls started a couple of weeks ago, so we gave them before Christmas off because they had their under-17 state champs in October. So we gave them a bit of a rest before Christmas, and now they're back into training, and already they've settled back in really well. They'll have some games coming up through Feb and March as curtain raisers to our AFLW games, and then they'll have an Academy Carnival down in Coffs Harbour in April, which will be a selection process for the state under-18 program, and then hopefully they'll go on and play state footy and put themselves in contention and get drafted later this year.
Awesome. So just tell us, you mentioned the curtain raisers before the AFLW games. We've got a few of those, not this weekend, but in the weeks to come?
Yeah, so Feb 24 and March 10, I think the dates are. So need a little bit more time to get the girls ready from a training point of view, and then we'll play a couple of games against the Gold Coast Suns Academy girls, see where the girls are at, and it'll be a good opportunity to test themselves and put into practice what they've been training, and then get ready for the Coffs Harbour Carnival.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. So just tell us, you actually met with the AFL to sort of talk about what's happening with the Academy. Can you sort of talk us through what you discussed with them?
Yeah, for the last 4 or 5 years our program's been pretty consistent in terms of what we've been doing with the players. We now think it's time to sort of review things and look to build on our program, make it bigger and better. So we want to expand the playing numbers and include more boys and especially girls, but also increase our staffing so that we can work with our squads really closely and give them a better program, and also work with AFL Queensland and the local footy clubs to help develop their knowledge, and again that helps us get better products when they come back into our programs.
Because the Lions Academy was really developed to sort of build Queensland players and make them, help them stay here in Queensland at the club. How about some of the, graduates that we've had from the Academy over the years?
Yeah, I think we're really now seeing the benefits of the Academy with our senior listed players. So guys like Eric Hipwood, Harris Andrews, who's been promoted to the leadership group, which is fantastic. Ben Keys, Liam Dawson, Jacob Allison, Archie Smith. They're now becoming established senior footballers, and that's going to help our on-field success hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years. And it also helps provide motivation and inspiration for young kids coming through Queensland. They actually can now see the end goal is to come through the program and hopefully emulate those guys and become a senior player.
Yeah, and one that we haven't mentioned, we mentioned Jack, obviously, how he is extended before even playing a game, but the other one we've got this year is Connor Ballenden. You know him quite well. How do you think he's gone so far?
Yeah, I've known Connor since he was 12, so seen a fair bit of him playing and spent a fair bit of time working with him over the course of the program. Again, he's handled the transition really well. Match simulation the last couple of weeks is starting to show some really good signs, taking some really good marks up forward, working pretty hard against guys like Jack Payne and Matty Eagles and Harris, so he's not getting an easy run, so he's learning from the best and showing some really positive signs of his improvement.
That's great to hear. So you mentioned NEAFL. You've actually got a new role in the NEAFL department as the NEAFL Operations Manager. So what will that involve this season?
Yeah, so working with David Noble and then Mitch Hahn, the NEAFL coach, about more so just sort of overseeing the program around the strategy, the rules and regulations and the fixturing. So it's a natural progression for my role in terms of working with the academy, and now we've got a number of 19-year-olds and 18-year-old boys playing regularly with our NEAFL team. So now sort of working with Mitch and Nobes to oversee things and make sure there's a smooth transition from our players into the NEAFL program, and we can provide feedback to the boys when they go back to academy training in their local clubs.
Great, thanks so much, Luke. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Josie. Cheers.